Hang on one second. There are also, if any of you have glass around your door to where the fear is someone punches through the glass and flips the thumb turn, there's what they call a double cylinder, which is keyed both sides, so that it eliminates that. And then, let me grab this key real quick, and I want to show you something. Oh, thank you. Here, I'll get it right to you. Oh. They also have, if anyone's ever had a double cylinder deadbolt, I guarantee they've gone to leave their house one day and they can't get out because the key's not there. That's the big problem. So it's a life safety thing, and it's an inconvenience. What a lot of people love is the convenience of this, okay? Being able to do this when they're home, but they don't want, when they go on vacation, to know someone can pop a pane of glass and get in their house. So they actually make what's called a captive deadbolt, which is also available. Using your existing key, the operating key, you can remove that component of your lock, put it in a safe, put it in a drawer. When you go out of town, you've got double cylinder deadbolt. When you get home, you pop that back in, and you're ready to go. Now you can operate this lock with a key.
From the other side?
From both sides, yeah. So right now I just made that a double cylinder. And then, there's always the option to go back, for the convenience of the single cylinder. And if you guys saw that key, you'll notice how unique it is comparative to what most other keys look like. Oh, sorry.
Now, if you had more than one lock, would the same key work for both locks?
They can be keyed alike? Absolutely. Or they can be keyed different. In fact, and this may be, beyond the interest level, but they could also be master keyed. Hypothetically, you own a business and you own a home, and you want one key that's going to do both, but you want different keys that are going to operate each. So that can be put in place as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I have that installed in my house.
Yes.
Something happens to me, I pass away.
Yes.
My family comes down, they cannot get in. They don't know where I got that. Can any locksmith open that to get in?
No. They can grind it off the door. That's the fastest way to get into it.
Or break a window and go through
Break
a window and then try and find the
pop
key
a
somewhere.
slider, pull hinge it. Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
So nobody else can operate that if they don't know where it was
If you don't have a
purchased.
key, it's, there might be I don't have the numbers, but there is almost a zero likelihood that
Yeah.
someone would be able to pick or bump this lock
Yeah.
that's running around.
So that's right. I was looking at that key and I was looking at the little
Exactly
dimples on it.
And it, like I said, it's threefold. It's the security built into the lock. It's the way it's built, meaning all the extra pieces and parts and the way it's configured differently than a standard lock, plus the key being a dimpled key as opposed to a traditional cut key.
Right.
How many people on the signature card?
It's up to you. You can add just yourself. You can add multiple people. What a lot of people will do is, let's say they're in a position where they're in there buying the lock, or we're on site, you're the only one there. You sign your name and then you print the other people you want to be able to come in. The first time they come in, we'll verify it, and then they can sign the card at that point. So you can have really an unlimited number of people.
If I bought this lock and I want to take it with me
Yes,
to my next house,
absolutely. We do that all the time.
I know it's no problem. What if I move out of state?
Your biggest issue at that point would be key generation. Any qualified locksmith could put it in.
Can install that?
Yes, yeah. They should be able to.
You have the code, so you could generate a key if you lost your key.
Here's the problem with the keys, okay? I don't know if everyone heard. The system that we operate on, which is a proprietary keyway for multi-lock, okay? The only place in the entire state of Florida that you can get this key, there's one person per state, is at Coons Locksmiths, all right? If you move out of town, Atlanta, Georgia, hypothetically.
You have a cool state too?
No, that's the problem. You would have to basically arrange before you left, if you ever wanted more keys, to have those cut, or a situation where, I've done it occasionally where a person will send me a certified notarized letter saying I'm leaving the state and I authorize myself over the phone using this password to have keys sent and mailed to me. I think I've done that out of 3,000 twice. It's not something that's real common, but that's, if you were to carry this out of state, if you were to carry it to Jacksonville, it's going to be the same problem. Key generation. The lock's going to be just as effective, but as you need more keys, the only place where you're legally able to get them is with me, or whoever it is you buy the system from.
How heavy is that lock?
It's pretty heavy.
Because you know, the doors we have are not so good.
You know what? I've never heard of a problem where the lock weight has negatively
It
affected
has
the
no
door.
effect on it.
Yeah.
Because right now, the cylinder inside my first lock
Mhm.
is having a fun time with the miracle.
Spinning and spinning and
And I
spinning.
do have a deadbolt lock on the
Mhm.
top, thank God.
Yeah.
But
Well, a lot of times, depending on what the brand is, sometimes tail pieces will break off.
it's a very good brand. It's
That'll
a
cause it.
Kiwi, the bottom lock.
Kiwi. It's not one of them.
You went listening.
That's the only kiwi I know.
It's a-
A strange looking animal and a shoe polish. And a fruit. I guess there's a kiwi fruit.
It's a quick set.
Yeah, quick, yeah.
It's the same.
I can tell you what's probably happened with that if it's just spinning around and around and
Rachel
around.
broke it.
The tailpiece probably snapped, so it's not engaging the
I don't
latch
care it's
part.
coming out, but the point is,
Yeah.
I lived on the east coast of Florida,
Mhm.
and I have a set of keys. I have a deadbolt, which is a good deadbolt
Mhm.
at the time, and it's this junky thing on the bottom, right? I took my keys from the other house, came here, and opened that door.
Yeah.
That's how good they are.
Yeah. Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And just so I say it, because you actually gave an interesting thought. Anyone who does not have a deadbolt, get a deadbolt, because the security of your home is entirely predicated on that deadbolt. This is, whether it's this, or Kiwi, or Schlage, whatever, if you don't have a deadbolt, I mean, I figured out how to get past that lock when I was 5 years old, when I was breaking into my house using fishing line, after school. So I can tell you that is absolutely not an avenue to go. You have to have a deadbolt in order to be secure at your home. I don't care how inexpensive it is, the lack of one is a real vulnerability.
I've had mine for the past 25 years, the same.
The bottom
same
lock,
lock.
yeah.
Not the bottom.
The knob, the lever,
Same
that's
lock,
decoration.
same
Yeah.
lock.
That's decoration.
Yeah.
That's all it is decoration.
Took it from one house to
I don't even, in fact, if you come into the shop and ask me, I want to have some key to light, I will do everything I can to talk you out of that. Because what I'd rather you do is, maybe not this, but a substantial deadbolt and what they call a passage, which is no lock on the handle or the lever. To me, the only thing that accomplishes is locking yourself out. Because someone comes over, turns the knob, you run out to get the paper Saturday morning, the door shuts behind you. Guess what? Now you're over at the neighbor's house in a robe calling me. So they really don't do anything other than, keep the door shut. That's the way I think they should be treated, me personally. And that has cost me, that philosophy has cost me a lot of money over the years, because most people would absolutely buy the key version, which is double the cost. And I'll do everything I can to tell them not to do that, because they're not gaining anything.
Oh. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Many of us have front doors with glass inserts similar to this one.
Okay.
What do you do about that?
Well, that's where this comes in, the double cylinder. To where,
But let's assume the opening is big enough for a person to cut the glass and just step in.
you know what? It's a great question.
Can't cut it.
Here's the thing.
Can't cut it.
You can't cut glass.
If someone took a cinder block,
Break it?
how many of you have side lights on your door?
Yeah.
Like big, someone takes a cinder block and throws it through there, there's nothing I can do, nothing we sell, Coons, that could stop them. There is a company, I'll get you this name, I don't have it with me.
Okay.
My service guys have, over the past couple of years, as they've been going out, and a lot of them have been installing these deadbolts, there is a company based in the Cape, which is selling that impact glass. I don't know if you've been to any home shows or anything, but essentially, and impact glass is the wrong way to describe it. It's an impact film. It's a hurricane-resistant film. that they'll retro install on your glass doors, on your side lights, and you can literally take a hammer and hit it as hard as you can, and it'll crack and spider, but it won't break.
That's laminated glass.
Yeah. And then, you know, what they do now is after the fact. You know, they'll come in and they'll take your existing glass and they'll put that film on that laminate on there, which prevents someone from doing that. So, you know, if that's a legitimate concern, and it is, most people don't want to create that much noise, but like I mentioned, there comes a point where they're going to get in. If they're willing to throw a cinder block through your door, you know, they're going to get in.
Lamination is not on the glass, it's between the two pieces of glass.
This is actually a film that goes on the glass, that they apply to the glass.
That's like Suntrol or something like that.
3M's got the film, okay, that's got, run in both directions, all right, and they run right up the edge, and you can take a sledgehammer and,
That's a film on top of the glass. It's
Right.
not glue.
that's what he's
Yeah,
talking about.
that's the film. That's the film.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's-
So it's not something where you have to replace the glass. That's very expensive. This is a guy who comes in, or a company that comes in, literally assesses your home and says, you know, we can do this, and it's, as I understand it, relatively affordable. It's not something I mess with, but this guy he's been very successful in the last couple of years. And I will get you that company name so that you can distribute it out.
Yeah, good, thank you.
But it's another good question. Anything else in terms, and just so I finish up on the signature, driver's license is really, or ID card, those two things are really the only things that will accept as signature cards, okay? Don't rely on someone knowing you or that you're best friends with one of my technicians, because I can assure you, I've been yelled at by a lot nastier people that are in this room, I can tell. And this is just not gonna happen. So it's just not gonna happen.
Okay, there's a question about the sliders you were gonna.
Yes, I'm gonna go to that. It kind of dovetails into what you mentioned. I don't care what kind of deadbolts you have, there are other vulnerable areas in your house, okay? The benefit that you have is if someone says, gosh, what else do they have? You know, when they look at this lock, they move on. That's really bad for your neighbors, great for you. It's a problem you don't need, kind of like the termites. One of the other most vulnerable areas in your home, quite frankly down here, you know, sans your front door and your French door, probably the most vulnerable is your sliding glass door. Okay, everyone's probably dealt with one of those chintzy little locks that break all the time. They're not very effective. And you have a right, a legitimate reason to be concerned over the safety of that lock. It's really designed for privacy as opposed to physical protection. Now, bless you, by the way. There are, I should say, several different simple things you can do. One of the things I want to stress. Oh no, you're absolutely fine. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of. It doesn't have to cost you multi-lock to get better security. Okay. This is certainly something that's, I think, worth the money, otherwise I wouldn't sell it, but it doesn't have to be incredibly expensive to give yourself some more peace of mind.